We are back with Jeffrey Williamson, and he's a tax attorney, and we are today discussing Medicare, Medicaid issues.
And you were saying you should not do it yourself. You should get help.
Yes. I mean, the Medicaid rules are very complicated. Medicaid is, when a tax attorney tells you something's complicated, you know it's complicated. Medicaid is actually a federal law, but it's implemented by the states. So each state has their own rules. You know, I've had people come in, and sometimes people get the gifting rules for federal estate and gift tax confused with Medicaid. You know, annually...
See, that just confused me right there.
Right. Well, that's the whole point, is you're going to have to get expert help. And I definitely would consult an elder law expert before you apply for Medicaid, because once that application is submitted, there's no going back. And you can't withdraw it and say, oops, I made a mistake.
Okay.
So you've reached a point of no return.
You also touched on something of Medicaid help, in-home help.
There is a Medicaid waiver program but there's a waiting list. But that's one thing, going to, you know, an elder care specialist, you can learn about programs that you might not otherwise be aware of, where you can receive, similar to like hospice type care. Medicaid will pay for in-home care, which obviously most people want to stay in home. And I think that's where the trend is going, because that's actually cheaper for the state, and it's what people want more, rather than being in a nursing home.
Right. I think sometimes people think if they go to an attorney, it's because they need to fight something, because they need representation against something, rather than being proactive.
Yeah. Well, planning, I just can't stress it enough how even if you've waited to the last minute for crisis planning, you can't protect as much of your assets as you otherwise would have, but you can protecting some is better than protecting none. And so I can't stress the importance of planning. Also, if the nursing home gives you a discharge notice, don't automatically assume that, I mean, they can't by law just put your mom or dad in a, you know, on a bed and wheel them out. There's a discharge process. You can go before an administrative law judge. So the important thing is just to know that there are although there are very few in this area, there are a few qualified attorneys, and you need to seek someone who's qualified. Before we go, because if you need an attorney in this area or somewhere else, there's a website in the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. Just go on www.nala.org, and that'll give you a listing.
And are there other websites or easier ways that breaks it down for you to make it simple so you can't understand it?
Gosh. None that I can... Well, the Medicaid, I really... this is an area that you just can't Google. Yeah. I mean, you can get some information, but I would never, you know, act on what you looked up. The Medicaid rules are in something called the Medicaid Manual, and it's really cumbersome to go through and read.
Plus, when you're in what you call crisis mode, when that relative has, you know, been transferred from a hospital that's going into the nursing home for the rehab, it's kind of a crazy time.
Oh, absolutely.
And for you to sit back and say, well, I'm just going to research this, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So again, an attorney who can help you, you know, just weed through all this, but start early. You know, start planning early for yourself or for your family members. But then again, if you do find yourself in that crisis period, always seek somebody out. But you're in Statesboro.
My main office is in Statesboro. I have a satellite office in Savannah. Okay. If you just Google J.L. Williamson Law Group, it'll pull up my website. And I generally don't charge for an initial consultation for people. You know, people are doing elder care because they really care. Right. And so even if they, you know, if they just want to sit down and chat, I usually do that.
When do you start planning to put your parents in a nursing home? Around 40, 45?
Well, you know, that's a good question that I've had people come and really want to plan too early.
Right.
I will not do Medicaid planning for someone personally under 65, unless they have a severe illness.
Under 65. And you cannot plan for coworkers, so sorry, Don. You can't be planning to put me in a nursing home.
That started years ago.
Thank you so much.